Welcome to Unfiltered Three, spilling the tea with
Cece.
Autumn.
and Brie.
Hi, friends.
Welcome back. We hope you're doing a wonderful day. What? We hope you're having a wonderful day and doing fantastically. It is in the morning when we're recording this, and my brain has not turned on fully.
A little flippy flop here. We hope you're doing a wonderful day. That's so funny.
I put that on a shirt.
I love it. Oh, geez, that's just one for the books.
But yeah, we are going to be talking about our moving experiences because we've all had a significant story when it comes to moving in our lives, and they've happened at different points in our lives. And yeah, we wanted to talk about that today.
So yeah, like Bree said, we've kind of all had that. I don't want to say some of us have had a big move. Some of us have lived where, we were born for the majority of our lives and then traveled a lot. And so we wanted to share those stories, and going off that is my own. I moved states. So I grew up in New York till about 6th grade when I was 10 years old. And at the end of my 6th grade year, I found out that we were moving to Virginia. And I had mixed emotions about it, to be honest with you. In the moment, I was going through a really hard year as far as like bullying and stuff. And so like I kind of wanted to leave the school that I was in, but I also was terrified to go to a place where I knew absolutely no one in the middle of middle school.
Yeah.
And so we did it. We moved to Virginia and I went to a brand new school. And I made some friends here and there. And I cherished those because, those were people that they didn't, there's no expectation to have to talk to me, to have to make that relationship. And they tried and they made me feel welcome. And it was really nice. I don't think I officially found like where I felt like home, or like where I felt the most secure in like a relationship or friendship or whatever until like my sophomore year of high school. Like I had a lot of good people that I hung out with and were friends with, but I didn't find like my best friend until my sophomore year of high school. Yeah, it was hard though. There was a lot of not knowing anyone. I mean, everyone in 6th grade, so like the area that I moved into was huge. It was a big area. So there was probably like 9 different elementary schools, there was 3 different middle schools, and at that time there's only 2 high schools, and then my high school got built when I was in 8th grade. And so a lot of people came from all these different elementary schools in 6th grade, and they kind of merged and they like made their cliques and their friends. And then here I'm coming in 7th grade when everyone's already like made their friends, and middle school isn't like open arms. Like, hey, be our friend now. Like there were some people that were like that. Like I had another friend who moved at the same time I did. And so we were friends and we kind of drifted apart, but then we came back together, I think, at like our senior year. So that was pretty cool. But it was hard. It was hard. And I'm not a walk up to you, hi, I'm Autumn type of person.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do that. I'm just simply not. Like where I probably should, but in my head I'm thinking, no, they don't like me. They don't know me. Why are they going to want to talk to me? Like, you just shoot yourself down before it even happens. And so, yeah, all of that occurred and I finally adapted and I really enjoyed my life there. And then I had to move back to New York. And maybe these will be stories that I get more in detailed in later down the line, but I'm not going to touch too much on the reason why. But I had to move back up to New York. My parents moved up first. I moved up 6 months later. Very pissed off. I simply did not want to be here. And again, it was the same thing. So it was like I had that sense of familiarity, right? but I didn't know anyone anymore.
Yeah.
From the ages of 10 to 18, you change. You're not the same person that you were at 10 years old. You've matured, you've grown, My friends that we had like a friend group when I was younger, none of them were friends anymore. So I was like, I didn't know how to reach out. I mean, just kind of didn't do anything for a while there.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm very blessed and grateful to have my cousins who are like my brothers, and they've been like my brothers since I was really little, with their parents being so close. And so I was kind of able to latch on to them and make their friends my friends. and build my friend group that way. And I reconnected and rekindled like some relationships with friends from when I was younger, and they fizzled out. And that was fine. It was almost like a sense of closure in a way of being like, okay,
Yeah.
because I missed them, throughout the years, and then found out that we're not the same people. We don't share the same. Oh, I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just gonna skip that. We're not the same people, and we didn't connect the same way as when we were younger. And so yeah, I I think that those two moves helped me adapt quicker. So now, like a big change in my life, I can adapt to it pretty quickly. It doesn't knock me off my rails. I'm not like, oh shit, what's happening? I can now be like, oh, hey, this is a change. This is exciting. This is cool. Because even though it's hard, and when it first initially happens, you're kind of like, what the hell? I now know from going through it that in the end, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very brief brief entry into me moving, but I would highly recommend that if you don't have to move your child in the middle of middle school, please don't.
Yeah.
Either before middle school or after middle school going into high school. I feel like those are like okay times, but like not in the middle. It is so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. Middle school is, I mean, you're all preteens and you're like getting into your
Yeah.
hormones and you're just ruthless. Middle schoolers are ruthless.
It's already hard without change. Just throw that in there to.
Yeah. And to go from like a sense of community here where you have not like I had cousins here, I had friends, I had my grandparents, I had my uncles, and there I had no one. I didn't have any family. Like the closest family that I had to me was 45 minutes away and I was 10. I can't drive.
Yeah.
And in 45 minutes for Virginia is 2.5 hours
Right.
with their traffic. So it's like we didn't see them very often. And so I kind of had to build my sense of community there, which was it. I mean, it happened. I had what I called my neighborhood friends because I lived in like an HOA type setting down there. And then I had my school friends. And my neighborhood friends were like my siblings. This is what they became. Very close. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much more I can really press on it other than like it was hard, but it prepped me for being able to adapt to those big life changes.
Yeah. That's something we've talked about a lot between you and me is like having the moving experience and how it kind of widens your sense of view too, and having that experience. And like we could live anywhere.
Yeah.
We can just move. Like we're not stuck to this place. And I feel like some people who grow up and live in the same place, they don't really have that like flexibility in their mind, if that makes sense. Of
Yeah,
like
they
we can
don't.
just go
I
somewhere
almost,
else.
yeah, it's like I think it comes back to that like community sense, right? Like they haven't experienced almost in a way like you haven't experienced losing it and then having to rebuild it and knowing that you can rebuild it.
Yeah.
Like to them it's like, but I know everyone here. To me, I'm like, "Ugh, I know everyone here." Like that's almost suffocating to me sometimes. I'm like, no, I liked the big area where if I went to Walmart, I didn't see 30 people that I knew.
Yeah.
Like I could go incognito. And don't get me wrong, the area that I lived in was big, and it still had that like small town vibe though. Like you would meet someone who knew someone that you knew, and it would, I mean, I've even had that between New York and Virginia, which is just weird.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy
Oh,
how
yeah.
those separate lives almost, I don't know, and have, like, intertwined in
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, small world effect.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's crazy, but no, my significant other is like that. He's only ever lived here
Mhm.
and nowhere else. And so moving for him is it's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's like why would he doesn't have that like drive to do it where like you and I have done it. So we're like it's obtainable.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Stressful. Yeah.
So yeah.
I wanna move to the West Coast so bad. Because that's where I'm originally from. My going back even down my family line, they're all from the West. My parents are from Montana. My ancestors settled in Western Canada and went down the West. Like we're the first ones to live on the East Coast now. But so I was born in Boise, Idaho. And my first big move, I was 6 weeks old. It took a lot out of me. I probably was stressful for a baby, but I don't have any memories of Idaho. I do have stories from my sisters of her friends from when she was in Idaho with us, but yeah, I know they're good for potatoes if you're from Idaho.
My
Woo.
mom's been to Boise. She loved it. She went when she was working at one of her past stores. Their home headquarters was there.
Oh, cool.
And so she'd have to go visit and she loved that area. She said it was very pretty.
It'd be cool to visit
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, I was born here."
I'm pretty sure that's an up and coming city, is it
It
not?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Jeff was there for work, he always was like, it's better than you think.
It's not just about the potatoes. In
But
Idaho.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I was 6 weeks old till I was 4 years old. I lived in California. And again, that's where all my family was. We lived in a little cul-de-sac, and I had my best friend across the street who was the same age as me. And we'd play all the time. We'd have sleepovers. And it was just people ask me now, they're like, "Oh, you were only 4 when you moved. You probably don't have that many memories." I have a lot of memories. I don't know if that's an effect of having that big move and it being
Mm,
significant enough that my brain recorded things more. I don't know.
it could be.
But yeah, I there's well, I have a lot of memories for myself, but I also have a lot of memories through video capture.
Yeah.
My
Mm-hmm.
dad was putting himself through school and working full time the whole time I was a baby there. So my mom was recording everything for him so he wasn't going to
Mm,
miss out as much on my moments.
Oh.
that's so cute.
Yeah. So I have a lot of recordings that I would just watch myself. I don't know what it is as a kid. You're like, "Oh, that's me as a baby. I want to watch myself." But yeah, I have a lot of fond memories back there, and that sense of family is something I really missed growing up and that I connect with you a lot on. And
Mhm,
like moving somewhere where you're just completely alone
mhm.
with no family.
It almost gives you, like, a temporary sort of feel because like, you don't have those ties that you're so used to having. Like,
Yeah.
it took a long time to not feel that way, and now it's a feeling that I absolutely despise. Like, I don't like feeling like I'm temporary in a home or
Hmm.
temporary in any kinda way. But yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's not talked about a lot.
No.
Hmm.
And we moved. So I have two half siblings that are on my mom's side. My sister moved with us, but my brother stayed with their dad. So we weren't moving, we were traveling to California a lot for his high school graduation, college, like significant moments
Mm-hmm.
that, as a mom, you don't want to miss and be a part of it as a family. So we'd go back there a lot, and it was great where I'd have that family time, and I am in the place that I love, and it was just really temporary. And every time
Mhm,
it would just like break my heart.
mhm,
And I just have this longing of like, I want to be back there. I want to
mhm.
be with them. I don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still hard. Um, and there was also times growing up where I didn't have the best relationship with my parents. And so when we were having those tough moments, I'm really glad and grateful I had my sister because she was my safe place. But that's all I had. It was just
Yeah.
my sister. Like, I didn't have my grandma or an aunt
Mhm.
or my brother. Like, I didn't have other people I could go to. It was solely my sister, and I love her so much. I'm so grateful for her.
Mm.
But there was that longing of wanting that
Yeah.
and wanting more.
Mhm.
I'm so glad you had that because
Mm.
my
Yeah.
sister and I were at each other's throats.
Yeah.
We did not get along. We're great friends now.
Mhm.
I love her dearly, and she's like my child.
Yeah.
But because of, I had to raise her and all of that, we just, mm-mm. That would have
You
been nice though.
Yeah, we also have a bit longer of a distance between us. So it's almost
Yeah.
like she already was out of high school by the time I was able to go to her apartment outside of
Okay.
my house.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
wasn't babysitting me. She was just
You were able to have that more sister connection. I
yeah.
think that's awesome. No, I think that's really cool. And I'm glad
Yeah.
you had that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. But yeah, that's the thing. My parents were very adamant about not wanting to move again once they settled here in New York because they didn't my mom growing up came from a household that was moving constantly.
Yeah.
So she moved in middle school, high school, like never really stayed at a place for very long, and she didn't want to put her kids through that.
Hmm.
So I think that's also why she gave my sister and brother the choice of whether they wanted to move with her or not, or split the house, or whatever. They got that choice. So it was in their hands of whether they move schools and move their lives with us. And I'm good. I'm holding on to that through my generations too. I don't think if I can at least avoid it,
Hmm.
I'm gonna stay in one place for my kid to go through school.
Yeah, I think that's pretty traumatic for children when they have to go through. Would you say? Would you say when you moved it was traumatic or just really hard?
Um, so I think that it could have been really traumatic, but like I said, I was going through a really bad year here in New
Yeah.
York, like significant bullying. Like I was going home every day crying. Like
Mm.
I don't think I would be here if I stayed here. So I think my story is a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely depends.
Yeah. So, but like it wasn't easy by any means. Like I had parents who were going through things and we
Yeah.
never had a lot of money. Like our best years money-wise and financial-wise was probably when we lived in Virginia
Mm-hmm.
outside of like where they're at now. But it was hard. But I don't think for me at least it wasn't traumatic. It was almost saving. It
Mhm.
saved me.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was not good.
Not good. Ugh. I'm the person who lived in the same house that, listen, what was it? I was 6 months old when my parents bought that house and grew up all through high school and then went to college nearby.
Mhm.
So I lived in that house my whole life. And when I went away to college, because my first few years were at a local community college, and then I went to a bigger school after that, I met my boyfriend who lived in California. So I ended up traveling back and forth throughout the end of my college years and years after, as we navigated a long distance relationship. So I've never quite moved, but I would stay out there for long periods of time, come back, and lived a very mm, a- actively moving life. I don't know how to say it. Um yeah. So that was a lot of fun in my life. A lot of different experiences all through that. I think most of my growing was through that.
Mhm.
I found myself some more having to go to a new place. Number one, I was terrified. I was 21 when I met him, I think. So I didn't tell my parents where I was going. I was like, oh, I have a 3-day weekend. I'm gonna fly out and see you. And if we really like each other, we're gonna make this work if we really like each other. So I literally jumped on a plane by myself, didn't tell anyone. As I'm going to yeah, I know the looks I'm getting. As I'm going to the plane, I'm getting on. I get a call from my dad who goes, "All right, I heard from your sister to your aunt to me." Because I only told my sister. I said, just in case I come back, not a
Yeah,
lot.
just in case I'm a news banner.
Exactly. Just in case.
Gosh.
This is where I am. This is who I'm meeting, you know. And then through the grapevine of our family, it got back to my dad. And this was the first time where I truly felt like I was viewed as a young adult versus a kid. Where my dad said, you are an adult. You can make the decision. You know, you're going to be all right. And I was like, oh my God, what? My dad's not lecturing me. I'm not, oh my God. So yeah, that was definitely a defining moment, I think, in my life where I'm not a kid anymore.
The training wheels came off.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, we made that work for a long time. Um, I loved being in California. Loved it. I know I was more north than you, but I mean, it's just a different world. And like you said earlier, where you're in a city but you still have that community, that was a lot there. I had to meet new friends. I met some of his friends and some friends that we made together throughout the years. And they we still talk to this day. Unfortunately, uh, my fiance passed away, and it was another big changing time in my life. But I thank him for all the moments I've had and all the things I've learned through that relationship. And it's difficult to talk about sometimes, but it's necessary.
I think one of the things that through because so Bree, you didn't just have your move from California to here. When you met Andrew, you also moved from, even though it was only an hour difference, that's still a move.
Not knowing the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Well, so I lived in a bigger city in New York growing up here in New York. And we really stayed in that area. My parents didn't really travel that much, even like going to the like they didn't camp as much as they used to. And like my dad used to camp all the time in Montana. We didn't do any of that. So I really didn't know much of New York. My sister did most of the traveling, and it was to the beaches. That's where our trip was. Um, so yeah, moving out here to a small town where there's not too much to do and you have to drive a decent amount of distance to do anything was different. And then it's also the small town feel of everyone knows everyone and I don't know anyone. But it's definitely been a lot different. I've just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller during my moves as far as like towns go. It's
I
very
think so. I think with that, something that the three of us have very similar is building those new relationships, especially when being an adult. So, like,
Yeah.
when I was 10 and I moved from New York to Virginia, don't get me wrong, it was hard, but I at least had the school setting to where I was placed around people my age so I could talk to them, I could get to know them. I could build connections with the people that I jived with and stuff of that nature. But like when you're an adult and you move to a new space, like you don't have that. Like you have to depend on yourself to go out and build that connection, right? And like Cece's really good at that.
I can be, depending on what day it is.
Yeah. Bree and I, not so much. Like I'll always say, so okay, wait. If I were to put us in order, it'd be Cece, me, and then Bree.
Yeah.
Because I can be really good if I'm in an introverted setting. But if I'm in an extroverted setting, I am the introvert.
Yeah.
I am not talking. I'm just gonna ping pong off of other people, watch them, and just be a fly on the wall. But with that being said, I think that having those adult connections is something that we share, having to like build those friendships. Like you when you would go out to California to see your late fiance and stuff, and you coming here with us,
Yeah.
and then me just trying to figure out who the hell I could talk to. I am so grateful for my cousins. They helped me through that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that that's something that we should maybe touch on a little more.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, so I know we didn't go like super super in depth into our moves, and we can if you guys want to hear more about it.
Yeah, I can go on a rant on how the movers lost some of my toys in my move. I can give you all the details.
Yeah, I could give you the full story as to why I had to move both times. Which is a lot of mental health and, that kind of thing.
A deeper conversation.
Yeah, very deep. But yeah, no, I think that, I guess what I hope our listeners get from this conversation is that, like, if you are going through that big change, you're not alone.
Yes.
And, and I mean, it may not be similar situations, it could be different situations, whatever it may be. Like, we're here. We hope you connected to this, and we hope that you share, what you're going through or what you've been through, because it's one thing that we love is perspectives.
Yeah.
We love to
Yeah.
see other people's perspectives and to learn from them and grow from them.
Absolutely. Please share your stories.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about ours or want us to go deeper, just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. We can always do a part 2.
Yeah.
Diving deeper into our moves.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Unfiltered 3. Remember, we release new episodes every Monday, but if that's not enough, connect with us on our socials at Unfiltered 3, where we can uplift, inspire, and embark on this journey together. Thank you for listening and for being a part of our community. Until next time, take care and keep shining your authentic light. Bye, guys.
Bye.